So a cylinder of 50 millimeters in diameter and axis length of 70 millimeters is completely penetrated by a triangular prism of side length of 45 millimeters and an axis of 70 millimeters. One flat face of the prism is parallel to the VP and contains the axis of the cylinder. We want to draw the projections showing the curves of intersection. So looking at the nature of the work, best for us to do is for us to maybe draw the front view of the cylinder in place first. So that will earn us some kind of a rectangle. The dimensions of the rectangle is going to be 50 by 70. So 50 here and 70 there. And we can draw in a center line. And then the top view of the cylinder is going to be a circle. Okay. Now, for us to be able to draw the front view of the triangular prism and its top view, it's prudent for us to first draw in the side view and then project the dimensions of the side view to be able to get the front view and the top view of the triangular prism. So obviously we want, looking at the question given, the side view has to be coincidental with the midpoint of the front view of the cylinder. So let's draw a center line from this point. So something like that. And then we know that obviously one flat face is parallel to the VP. That's for the triangular prism and so on and so forth. So we could perhaps use a polygon, and then for a number of sides I'm just going to say 3, and then I click on edge now. So I can specify the first point, and I know that this edge, according to the question, is supposed to be 45. So 45. All right, so let me just copy, or rather let me just move by that midpoint and then make sure I put it there. So just like that. Okay, so now I can make some projections. I know that the prism also has an axis of 70. So it means that if I go for line, I can project these points, but I have to start from somewhere there. So I click, and half of 70 obviously is 35. Okay, so 35, and of course connect these to that. Okay, so I'll just move this back, and now I can mirror this feature. Then that's our mirror line. Okay, and then I'll go for, let's use a hidden line to connect the interior of that. So okay, and then okay, so would have to also project same. So let me just use, I don't know, and then maybe around here somewhere I'm going to draw my axis. And then what I want to do is I want to project, now I want to project the edges from that point. Let's draw in our mitre line. So that goes 45 degrees. So line, and then do same here. Okay, so what I've done is I've moved the side view of the prism a little bit to the right to make room for, the side view of the cylinder. So we project these lines, to the top view, and that will give us the outline to draw the top view of the prism. So let's switch to maybe this, and then okay, so I know that I can project this downwards like that, and then from here to that point, and then line. So connect this to that point as well, and then maybe okay, so I can mirror to get that, and that will be the top view of the prism. And now I've been told that one flat face of the prism is parallel to VP, right? So one flat face is parallel to VP, and that parallel face also contains the axis of the cylinder. So the axis of the cylinder, which on the top view is the midpoint, should be parallel to one of the faces, like that. Okay, so this is how the top view is going to look like. So let me just move this back, then move that back as well. So a hidden line goes in here, like that. That should be my top view, and then again I can project these points to get the side view of the cylinder. So that goes something like this. So from here through that point, then from here through that point, okay. So in fact what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this, because it's going to be the same thing there. So copy this by that point, then put it here, and obviously that should work. Okay, so now I have my side view in place. What I want to do next is put in the labels, and then continue from there. And now we can use T count to auto number these. So select them in this order, then type in T count, then select order. And then I want to start with 1 and then increment them by 1. So 1 comma 1 and hit enter. And then select override. And that gives us this. Okay. Okay, so we number them as shown, or we put in those labels as shown. Then we are ready to project the points. So let's put in some labels on the side view of the prism as well. So I can project just this point here, these edges. So let's call that A, let's call that C, but I just want to add an additional one. So let me put that at the center or midway between the horizontal distance between B and C. So I'll add an additional construction line. Let me measure this distance from here to there. That's 25. So I'm going to get a line, and then 25 divided by 2, that's 12.5. Okay. All right. Okay, so now let me just copy, and then let's call that A, call that B, and then C, D, E, and then F. Okay, so if we look at the projections, we can project A. So A goes through that, and then until it touches the circle, which is the cylinder. And then we project that back up. So let me get a line, and then project point A back up. So A goes through until it meets, A from that point. So this will be my point A. All right. So I can get another line and then connect this to that. So that's point A. And then for point B, I can continue with that line until it touches my mitre line, and then project that until it touches the circle, and then project that upwards until that touches point B, and point B will be coming from somewhere there. So that is my point B. I can connect that. So point C goes through that, and then we can trace C from that end, and that is where C would be. So I can connect that to C like that. Okay, now I can go for PO for point, and then put a point here, that is C. Now I can mirror this point and that point. So mirror those two using this as a mirror line. Then I should have all the points required. PO, this one did not appear, so there should be one there. Now I can switch to 0 and then go for spline, then through A, B, C, D, and lastly I have that then say hit enter, and this is about the curve that you would be looking for. Okay, so obviously I can mirror all of this to get the projection from the bottom as well. So I'll select all of that and then mirror them. So MI for mirror. Okay, and then that should be F. So this should be F. This should be E. That will be D. And then, okay. And then obviously this part goes away. Of course, the yellow line. Okay. And this basically will be the required solution.